This is Good Morning Jacksonville.
And a good Tuesday morning to you. I'm Lindsay Boach in for Keith and Nelson this morning. President Trump will deliver his first State of the Union address since taking office more than a year ago. He's expected to discuss the economy, trade, immigration, national security, and infrastructure. You can catch his speech right here on First Coast News tonight at 9 o'clock. Well, this morning, a statewide search for a 14-year-old girl from Sebring, Florida continues.
Investigators believe Michaela Graham is with 37-year-old Elizabeth Wortman. If you see these two, you need to call police right away. Our next season of baseball, the Cleveland Indians jersey is going to look a whole lot different. The team is officially removing Chief Wahoo from all of its uniforms that you will see on field there. Much more on this decision coming up. You actually will still be able to purchase those items. You just won't see them on the field. Let's get a forecast check, though, right now with storm expert meteorologist Mike Prangley. Hello, Mike.
Hello. Great morning to you, and good to see you back, Lou. Glad you're finding your way back here after that flu. It's been hitting most of us, and I tell you what, in this forecast today, I've been wiping down with the Clorox wipes, and with another dry, chilly air mass that moves through. Remember, these viruses love the drier environment, so wipe down and bundle up. That's my weather saying this morning. We're down to 44 Jacksonville, 46 in St. Augustine. But yeah, even though we're starting 20 degrees colder, it's not a brutal cold. It's not harsh out there. You'll just need to make sure you have the winter jacket. But I tell you what, it's a big difference from yesterday at this time. It's so nice to see this green light go again. 43 degrees to start, and that's a sunrise at 7:17. Now we'll have a chilly afternoon. Temperatures struggle into the upper 50s, so that's about 5 to 10 degrees below where we should be. But we got this beautiful blue sky, runners. Check it out. Running toward a beautiful Tuesday, a 4 out of 5 on the Runners Index. We'll talk about that in the super moon coming up. But first, Katie Jeffries in the Vital Credit Union Traffic Center.
Good morning. Your time is 5:02. I hope you guys are having a great start to your morning. This is a live look towards I-10 near Edgewood. Yesterday, you saw like a pond of water here along I-10 westbound. At least this morning, you can see traffic moving without any problems there. Let's take a live look here towards your traffic maps. And things actually look pretty nice. So we do have some construction along 295 southbound right before you would get to Phillips. Looks like a left lane there is blocked. And of course, you have that construction along 95 northbound as you approach the downtown area. But no crashes to report, and that's some good news. Back to you.
All right, Katie, thank you so much. The investigation continues into what caused a deadly accident. This was on Lim Turner last night. Police say a pedestrian was killed after being hit by a truck right there. The crash happened just after 7 o'clock in the evening. You see there the roads closed several hours. Police say the driver of the truck did stay there on scene and is cooperating with the investigation. And as we learn more, we will continue to update you.
A man in St. Augustine was hit by a bullet in his own driveway Sunday, but it turns out that the bullet came from people doing target practice around the corner, and they also hit several homes. John Granger was on his daily walk when Robert Tucker was shot while taking in his groceries. Now, according to a police report, bullets were flying through the neighborhood off County Road 208. Tucker recalls the moment causing him to spend the night in the hospital.
You hear the shot, then you hear the bullet whiz over your head, and I just froze. I said, that's not supposed to happen, and then the next shot afterwards, and then that's when I got hit.
Deputies haven't made any arrests, but charges are pending as they investigate. However, the firearms that were allegedly being used for target practice were confiscated. Tucker is expected to recover in a few weeks.
All right, this is a story out of Nassau County. It has been dominating on our Facebook page right now. So many of you checking this out. We're here to answer your questions now about a beached whale came ashore this past weekend. Florida Fish and Wildlife tell us there is a plan on what to do next now. First Coast News, Alex Ositis, he's live at Fernandina Beach on what that plan is for that beached whale. Hello, Alex. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Lou. And it's approaching high tide here, so we can't get down to the beach, but we are at that access point where some of these neighbors actually saw that whale on the beach just a few days ago. Now, FWC has been out here. They have been working to perform a necropsy, which is like an autopsy on animals. And as they are dissecting it, they are burying it about 10 feet below on the beach. And this is a process that they say is best practice out here, and hopefully it will remain in that area where they bury it. Researchers began dissecting that animal yesterday, actually. A lot of people out from Fernandina Beach to come check things out. NOAA is still investigating, though, how this happened, saying that they are seeing more boat strikes, and that may be the reason for this. That's still under investigation. All of this explained to the crowd yesterday watching this process unfold. We spoke with Claire Surrey Marsden with NOAA, who says that humpbacks like this are dying more often. Take a listen.
Noticed higher numbers of deaths of humpbacks in the past several years, mostly north of Virginia. This will be the first sort of in this area that will be investigated under that unusual mortality event.
Of a unique thing that's happening here as well, maybe because of the fishing industry, she added. We'll have more on this coming up in our next half hour, but for now, live in Nassau County, Alex Osiris, First Coast News, on your side.
Alex, thank you so much. Certainly very interesting. What happened today in Glenn County, opening statements in the case against a man accused of committing sex crimes against 3 children. It's Billy Ray Hutto allegedly committed the crimes against 2 girls and a boy on 3 separate occasions, according to the February 2017 indictment. Court's going to resume at 9 o'clock this morning. We'll bring you updates as we learn more.
The governor of Hawaii is expected to release the findings of an investigation into the false missile alert that happened earlier this month. That's topping your national headlines. 5:06 is your time. The internal investigation looked into a State Department of Defense alert that North Korea had launched a ballistic missile that would be approaching Hawaii within minutes. The governor there will hold a news conference today with the investigators to share the report and to announce actions he plans to take regarding personnel. The Bolles graduate, formerly second in command at the FBI, Andrew McCabe, announced he will be stepping down from his job 3 months sooner than anticipated. McCabe has been at the center of ongoing tensions between the White House and the FBI and has reportedly been under pressure from President Trump to step down. McCabe has served at the FBI since 1996. He briefly served as acting FBI director after James Comey was dismissed by the president. After decades of protests and complaints, the Cleveland Indians are dropping Chief Wahoo from their uniforms next year. The move comes after discussions between team owner Paul Dolan and baseball commissioner Rob Manfred. Manfred said in a statement the logo is no longer appropriate for on-field use. It will come off the team's sleeves and caps starting with the 2019 season. Blake Griffin is leaving Los Angeles and bringing out his winter gear. The Clippers agreed to trade him to the Detroit Pistons in a blockbuster trade. But Blake isn't going alone. Willie Reed and Bryce Johnson are also making the cross-country move. The Clippers will get 3 players from Detroit, plus a first-round and second-round draft pick for the trade. The trade relieves the Clippers of Griffin's $171 million contract, but they lose the face of their franchise.
Didn't really work out for the Clippers, did it, though, in the long run?
No.
They're still looking for that title. All right. Thank you so much, Lindsay. Next on Good Morning Jacksonville, a $6 million boat is helping students at UNF get some hands-on training. We'll tell you more about that awesome boat in just 2 minutes.
And we're getting you ready for a terrific Tuesday. Includes winter jackets and the super moonrise by later today. We'll let you know how the viewing will be.
And here's a look at some of that construction. 95 northbound just past Emerson. That right lane there is blocked. We'll talk more coming up. These are very important
Word
right
of
now.
the day, germaphobe, me, moi. Well, they're running out. I'm getting a little nervous.
Well, I appreciate you wiped down everybody's desks today.
Well, I
He's
did.
trying to keep us all healthy.
It's worth it. Well, in this drier weather, the cooler weather we're seeing this morning at the bus stop, that allows these viruses to thrive. You know, I read all about them in my
That's not what I want to hear.
No. So bundle up, wipe down. Simple. We can remember that today, right?
Oh, thank you so much.
Don't let those out of your sight. 43 degrees, bright start at the bus stop this morning. It's so much better. I know it's a little chillier, but we're not seeing that blinding rain. We don't have any flooding to go, and a brisk recess at 54. So the kids, it might be a little tough for the recess to get outside. And then look up later today, 58 degrees. We've got the SpaceX launch. That will be at 4:23. Okay, so look east for that. And then we've got the super moonrise, and that's just after 5:15 p.m. So I'm all set up at the beach. I'll have the tripod going. Can't wait to see it. So the moon will actually appear to be 30% brighter, 14% larger, and it looks best when it's near the ocean or the horizon. We'll talk more about the blue moon, blood moon, sky viewing, futurecast weekend. We're fired up. Katie, let me wipe down more.
I know that you love the moon, so check out this live look we have towards the Buckman Bridge, and you can see the beautiful moon shining there. Look how bright it is. You can kind of see the outline of it in the sky, but it is really bright out there this morning, so enjoy that. If you're an early morning commuter driving into work, that moon is shining beautiful this morning. So quickly, let's talk about some spots of construction. So if you're traveling here along 295 southbound, as you approach Phillips, look out for that left lane there to be blocked. Just be careful for construction crews. And then you've got your typical spot along 95 northbound just past Emerson, where that right lane there is blocked as they continue work on the Overland Bridge. But hey, they're getting closer to being done with that project, so at least that's pretty nice. But make sure you guys are wiping down your desks at your office.
I want to see that moonshot again.
Well, on the First Coast, our waters support such an incredible diversity of marine life, and threats like commercial fishing, climate change, offshore oil and gas development are degrading ocean health. But very soon, students will have the opportunity to do a little research using this so much state-of-the-art equipment to improve our waters and save marine life.
It's exciting to see the updated technology, as it's always cool to see the new things.
University of North Florida students will now call this 78-foot boat a floating laboratory.
Provides them with a chance to do things that we can't really give them in the classroom.
Dr. Jim Gilslider says not every day do students get a hands-on experience such as this one.
The students very rarely have the opportunity to go far offshore and get a chance to look at the ocean.
UNF and 13 other higher education institutions, they partner with the state legislature to contribute to the vessel's $6 million construction cost. The W.T. Hogarth has a lot of technology that'll serve several generations of students and faculty researchers in advancing oceanography and training of marine scientists across the state.
We're looking at things like drugs from the sea. Does this organism produce something that may actually have some medical benefit?
There's a gadget on board that has a camera on the front to capture anything it sees. There's even a machine on the boat that can go thousands of feet deep to collect sediments. And that's important because it helps when doing research on dolphin and shark populations and the effect of pollution on coral reefs. And as you can imagine, students are looking forward to their chance to tour on the boat.
You can read all you want on all these different textbooks and lectures, but actually being able to have your hands on it, being able to look at it, being able to assess it yourself, you learn a whole other level.
I think it's really important to be able to see what my possible career options are. You know, if I actually want to work on a research vessel, having the opportunity to, you know, get a little bit of firsthand experience with it is really important.
Well, students and faculty, they plan to go on trips during the spring and the summer months, but their hope is just to make a huge impact studying their passion for marine life. For more information, you can, of course, visit us on the web at firstcoastnews.com.
All right, thank you, Brooks. Well, 5:15 is your time. It's the off season for the Jaguars, and Blake Bortles quickly underwent surgery. Details coming up ahead.
This is Good Morning Jacksonville.
So right now there is a statewide search for 14-year-old Michaela Graham. She's from Sebring, Florida. Investigators believe she may be with 37-year-old Elizabeth Wortman.
We're told Michaela has cuts on her left arm. The pair may be traveling in a blue four-door sedan. If you see them or know where they are, you urge to call police.
From the Farrah and Farrah Sports Desk, it's First Coast Sports.
Good Tuesday morning. Blake Bortles underwent right wrist surgery Friday for a condition that kept him on the injury report all season. That's according to ESPN.com. Bortles dealt with the issues in his throwing wrist since early December of 2016. The Jaguars elected to avoid surgery last offseason and treat the injury with a variety of shots. The shots became less effective into the season, and the need for surgery was inevitable. What's significant about the surgery is that Bortles' $19 million salary for the 2018 season becomes fully guaranteed if he's on the Jaguars roster the first day of the league year in March. The Jags are prohibited from cutting Bortles while he is hurt or recovering from an injury. The surgery repaired a small tear, and a full recovery is expected. That's all for sports this morning. Roll out of bed and have a terrific Tuesday.
We're doing it, Chris. Thank you. It's 5:19, and the opening ceremony of sorts for Super Bowl 52 took place last night in the Twin Cities. New England Patriots looking to defend their title why the Philadelphia Eagles are looking for their first championship win in franchise history. Now, there are some superstitions when it comes to food, believe it or not.
Food of all things.
For these teams. Go ahead.
Yeah, Grubhub determined what foods were ordered most in the team's hometowns on days that they won football games.
Okay.
Why not? New England said that fans should order bacon and Philly fans should order Philly cheesesteak pizzas to secure the win.
I don't know.
Philly cheesesteak, I feel like that's just taking a bunch of, why not throw wings on there too? It's like all,
I'm still numb.
I don't know.
Still numb. I'm trying to get in it, you know. I want to think about it. Can't.
Yeah.
Just can't do it yet. I'll just have to watch it on Sunday and see what happens.
Are you rooting for anyone?
Absolutely not.
Oh.
Both of them. You know what? I don't know. I don't know what to do. Mike Prangley, I know yesterday you had a really sensational moment with Jeff regarding the Patriots and Eagles. Really natural. So how are you feeling this morning?
Now, weather with your First Coast News storm experts, powered by AC Designs.
Yeah, I'm looking at some data here, and yes, I missed the Silver Fox. So Jeff, apparently he's from New England, so he's rooting for the Patriots, and then I said, no way, we can't root for the Patriots. You know what they did to the Jaguars. My daughters, who don't watch much football, they were saying, what's going on, Daddy? And I had to explain to them the referees that the playing field was not level, so we're going for the Eagles. Now, let's take a look at this. Big game forecast. Now, it's inside, but the coldest outdoor game at the Super Bowl, New Orleans, 43 degrees in 1972. Now, the Eagles-Patriots, and it's kind of funny. Yeah, they're going up to enjoy 5-degree weather, but yeah, it's inside the dome where it's 72 degrees. Average high is 26, so this would make it the coldest game day temperature for any Super Bowl on record. And that's not including that wind chill of 10 below zero. Okay, so wake up weather, I say karma. Wake up weather, sunrise 7:17 a.m. And we take a look at St. Augustine, 43 degrees. Wake up weather, Middleburg, some of the colder spots, along with Lake City, Waycross in the middle to upper 30s. But we've got a great day. Beautiful skylights. The SpaceX Falcon 9 launch, that's at 423. Temperature, if you're heading down to the Cape, closer to 60 degrees. Here at home, we'll be watching that in 56-degree weather out at the beach. 7-day forecast. Here we go. The updated numbers. We got 58 Tuesday, 60, but here's what you need to pay attention to. Inland freeze tonight. We bounce back near 70 late week with a little cooler weather this weekend, but hey, a dry Saturday for your golfing, Katie. Just watch out for the rain on Sunday.
Ooh, I will. Thank you so much, Mike. All right, so your time is 5:22 out there on this Tuesday morning. Let's talk about I-10 real quick. So if you're driving in from maybe the Baldwin area, if you're traveling from 301 towards 295, it's about a 10-minute ride, then another 5 minutes before you reach downtown. So problem-free right now on I-10, and that's great to see. Let's take a look towards I-95 near Old St. Augustine Road. You've got the glow of downtown here in the distance, but I-95 seems to be moving along pretty nicely, even through St. Johns County towards the Jacksonville area. Let's take a quick look towards your traffic map. So this would be the Arlington kind of Regency area. If you're jumping on the Arlington Expressway, going across the Matthews Bridge, no problems right now, but there will be some closures this weekend. We'll talk more about that later on in the show. But traveling into downtown, it looks great. So anything comes up, I'll let you know. But for right now, no accidents. Back to you.
Stellar. Thank you, Katie. It's 5:22. It is common to ask for a straw when you're at a restaurant, but now one state banning them. Come on, man. Banning the straw, that's just cleaner, isn't it? Well, we have details for you.
$5.25 is your time. Imagine not having a straw for your drink and you have to drink straight from the cup. Some people don't mind, but others prefer the straw. It's a little bit more clean. Well, now in California, a new bill would make it illegal for servers to give customers plastic straws unless you request them. The anti-straw law would be punishable by up to 6 months in jail plus a $1,000 fine. The measure would apply to sit-down restaurants only, not bars or fast food. The lawmaker behind the bill hopes that going straw-free will curb plastic pollution. In South Fulton County, Georgia, Councilwoman Helen Willis proposed a new bill to help fight juvenile crime. The legislation would punish parents of repeat criminal offenders with fines and possibly jail time. Willis says that the proposal is not about locking parents up, but holding them more accountable for their kids and their kids' actions. Now back here in Florida, Greek life students at FSU can start getting back to normal. The university president has lifted the ban on Greek life, which was put in place after the death of a fraternity pledge member in November. As of now, philanthropy and recruitment activities can resume. An alcohol ban remains in effect for all student groups on campus.
Oh, hi, California. Go ahead and light up all the doobies you want, but don't use a straw. Thanks, Lindsay. 5:27 is your time. Coming up on Good Morning Jacksonville at 5:30. The latest on what FWC plans to do about a whale that washed ashore over the weekend.
All right, we got whales and we've got wind chills. Ooh, 40 degrees. Yes.
Was that a humpback whale sound that you tried to make? All right, let's take a look here towards the Dames Point Bridge. Looks good. We're going to get the show back on the rails coming back.
This is Good Morning Jacksonville.
Good morning to you. All right, right now there is a statewide search for this 14-year-old girl from Sebring, Florida. Investigators believe Michaela Graham is with the 37-year-old Elizabeth Wortman you see right there. We're told they may be in a blue four-door sedan. So if you've seen these two, you need to call police as quickly as possible. All right, coming up this evening, President Donald Trump going to deliver his first State of the Union address since taking office last year.
He's expected to discuss the economy, trade, immigration, national security, and infrastructure. And you can watch that tonight at 9 o'clock on First Coast News. And if you see extra security and traffic around Mayport and NAS Jacks today, don't be alarmed. All Florida naval stations are doing exercises that are designed to prep them for a potential terror attack. These exercises started yesterday and will continue until February 9th. Now let's get a check of your forecast with storm expert meteorologist Mike Prangley.
Falling like a rock out there. Yes, we're down to 44 Jacksonville, 43 to Waycross. Good morning. Thanks for waking up with us. And Lou is back in the house. Yes. And 41 degrees right now in Brunswick. We've got 46 to St. Augustine. Good to see him back. But here's the deal. We've got winter wind chills. All right, so we've got Lou out. Make sure he has the scarf on. He's getting healthier. Wind chills down in the mid to upper 30s for the kids at the bus stop. Today, a struggle. You know, that north wind will continue through the day at 10 to 20, so a high only in the 50s, feeling a little colder than that. Bundle up and wipe down. That's right. There's some science behind this flu virus going on around. Okay, so when you see dew points at 32 or lower, dry environment, and those viruses tend to thrive and spread. Now, we've got a super moonrise, though, at 5:18. Enough of that sick talk. We're going to keep our heads to the sky because it should be a gorgeous sight. We'll talk more about that, but first, Katie Jeffries in the ViStar Credit Union Traffic Center.
Thank you, Mike. Your time is 5:31, starting with a live look outside towards the beautiful Dames Point Bridge. And traffic there moving along without any problems, so that is great to see. Let's take a quick look towards your traffic maps. Your major interstates are moving right now without any problems. Much better than yesterday, in fact. And 95 northbound looks like they're in the process of picking up those cones that were blocking that right lane past Emerson, so you shouldn't have to worry about that much longer. Driving in from the beach, Atlantic Beach, JTB are all moving up to speed. In fact, JTB, it's only about 11 minutes to go from A1A towards I-95. So overall, pretty good to start so far this morning. Lewis.
Katie, thank you so much. 5:32 right now, JSO is looking for a man who broke a window and stole from a church. You see him right there on your screen. Now, officers say he is the one who ransacked St. Joseph's Catholic Church early Monday morning, targeting money and a safe specifically. Now, they say they have identified the suspect, but they need the public's help finding out where he is. So if you know where he is, you need to call him right now.
Over the weekend, people spotted a beached humpback whale on Fernandina Beach. And this morning, we're learning more about the increased activity like this up and down the coastline and what's next for that animal. First Coast News' Alex Ositis is live in Nassau County this morning with more details. Good morning, Alex.
Good morning, Lindsay. NOAA says that they've seen an increase in the number of humpbacked whales that have been killed, mainly because of boating. Now, that is still under investigation here when it comes to this beached whale that was found just back there. That's the ocean back there. It's so dark out this morning and the high tide is coming up, so we can't actually get down close enough to where this happened, but we're at the point where folks actually spotted this beached whale over the weekend, and they say it was an incredible sight, something that they have never seen before, and actually used it as a learning experience. NOAA coming out with FWC yesterday and doing a necropsy. It's like an autopsy for animals, and they were determining what may have happened, still investigating whether or not it was a boat strike, but they do plan to have all of the remains buried by today. Now, they are putting it about 10 feet below here on Fernandina Beach. Researchers also involved with this case. We spoke with Claire Surrey Marsden with NOAA about humpback whales and about this particular case. Take a listen to what she had to say.
Deaths caused by ship strikes. So we're doing a very thorough investigation to determine if that's the same case with this whale.
Now, we are at access point 40 where that 31-foot whale was found just back there. We'll have more on this story coming up in our next half hour. We're live in Nassau County. Alex Osiris, First Coast News on your side.
Well, 5:34 is your time. A Texas father is still in critical condition this morning after being buried alive in a sand dune. 35-year-old Lee Goggin is here visiting the First Coast with his family, and we're told that he was digging a tunnel into a side of a sand dune in St. Augustine when it collapsed on him. By the time deputies got there, he was unconscious. According to the GoFundMe page that was created for him, he had a heartbeat but was unable to breathe on his own.
Well, continuing coverage now on a South Florida nursing home. Right now there is a hearing underway to determine whether that nursing home is going to lose its license. Residents showed signs of heat stroke when that building lost power. Some body temperature soared to 108 degrees. 12 patients eventually died. Their deaths have since been ruled homicide, in fact. Facility owners are accused of not doing enough for the well-being of those residents after Hurricane Irma moved through and knocked out all the power there. So after the sex abuse scandal involving sports doctor Larry Nassar, Congress is now making moves to protect athletes across the country. There is a new bill moving through that would require amateur sports groups to report abuse claims to law enforcement immediately. Lawmakers who spoke in favor of the bill said that Nassar's victims were failed by the people who were supposed to protect them. Failure to report the abuse could lead to a 1-year prison sentence. So if you're ever arrested for a crime, you're guaranteed certain rights, of course, but many victims don't have the same type of Bill of Rights. Florida is just one of 4 states that actually requires mandatory depositions by the defense side of things. A new amendment called Marcy's Law would give victims the option to choose if they want to testify or not. They would also have to be notified of any proceedings related to their case and could choose whether or not they want to attend at all. The bill could be placed on the general ballot, Florida's election that's coming up this November. So it seems an unlikely partnership in the legal community right here on the First Coast. State Attorney Melissa Nelson has appointed former defense attorney Shelley Thibodeau as the leader of Florida's first ever Covington Integrity Review Unit. So Jacksonville's top prosecutor hiring someone to make sure that inmates are not wrongly convicted. This idea began in Dallas 11 years ago, where the county was able to exonerate 13 prisoners in just 6 years, all with the help of DNA evidence. Duval County currently leads the state for having the most inmates per capita.
Open enrollment for the 2018-2019 school year has started for St. Johns County schools, and right now reports show 40 spots at Rawlings Elementary and roughly 230 at the Webster School. So if the numbers of interested students exceed capacity, they will go to a lottery system, and the deadline to apply is February 26th. We have more information on our website, firstcoastnews.com. This morning, the Brunswick News is reporting no schools are being targeted for state-led turnaround efforts. However, one school nearly qualifies. Schools averaging in the bottom 5% of over a 3-year period are at risk for state intervention, according to the state's College and Career Ready Performance Index. Burroughs Millette Elementary is the only school in Glenn County facing possible intervention. 5:38 is your time this morning. Officials are warning of a new kind of robbery. It's called jackpotting. We're talking about that coming up in your national headlines.
And weather-wise at the bus stop, bundle up the kids. A bright start with that sunrise 7:17 a.m., but that 43 feeling much colder. I'll show you why.
Still checking in accident-free this morning. What a great start today compared to yesterday morning. Here's a look towards I-95 near MLK, but I'll give you another update coming up. So much is happening right here.
9 days to the Olympics. I'm all excited here.
I can't
And
wait.
we'll have a question. I'll post it on Facebook. Some of the new events are pretty exciting.
Ooh.
Okay.
What, can you give me at least one? What's one new event?
Curling.
That's not new. That was,
Yes.
wasn't that in last year's?
It's a new one, and speed skating, so there's 2 of them.
Pretty sure that was in the last year's.
It was in Jeopardy last night, so we'll take a look at that. Curling. All right, let's take a look at the very latest here, and we're talking about the Olympics and the hats at the bus stop. So I'm real excited about the Olympics. As you can tell, I've got my Team USA hat on. We've got 43 degrees, but the wind chills will make it feel more like the middle 30s. And then as we go toward recess, the kids will still need to keep their hats on. It's going to be a bright but brisk day, mid-50s, on our way to a high of 58. We're going to look up because we've got SpaceX rocket launch at Cape Canaveral. Should be able to see it along the beaches at just about 423. And notice temperatures mid to upper 50s, not just for inland areas, but all the way to the beach because we have more of a north-northwest wind today. Some of the colder spots, St. Simons, Jekyll Island, 53, 55, back toward Waycross. So the super blue blood moon rise. The super moon rise is tonight, 5:18 p.m. and then tomorrow morning is when we get the lunar eclipse. So there's not going to be any blue, there's not going to be any blood on the moon, but that's just a sign of the eclipse. The Earth's shadow will go over the top part of the moon, and that's tomorrow morning for about 30 minutes starting at about 6:47. And I'll check on that Olympic event.
I was about to say, I want to make a bet on this because I am like 99% sure both of those have been in the Olympics before, especially speed skating. That's been in it before. Let's take a look out here. This is a look towards 295 and Pritchard, and things there moving along very, very nicely. As you can see, no reports of accidents, which is great to be able to report on your roadways. Your major interstates are moving along nicely. If you're traveling along US 17 or traveling along a Blanding, you have the stoplights, but you don't have any accidents causing any problems for you. So that is great news. Also, I-95 through Georgia towards Jacksonville. No slowdowns, no issues there. And Mike's trying to
The Jeopardy
fact check
question
it right
from
now.
last night is one of my favorite shows. Okay, then with new events in 2018 will include mass start speed skating and a mixed doubles version of this stony sport. So a mixed doubles version of curling. So maybe that's
But
where
curling and speed skating have been in it before.
No, these are the new
Yes,
events in
that's
2018.
true. Okay.
So we'll call Alex Trebek. We'll get him on the phone after this.
5:43 is your time. Happening later today, President Trump's going to speak to the nation. It's his first State of the Union since taking office last year. It's topping your national headlines right now. Yesterday, the president said he's going to cover a lot of territory in the speech, including economic growth, tax reform, and immigration. This will be the president's second address to a joint session of Congress, though. You can watch his speech right here, WTLV 12, tonight at 9 o'clock. Well, the highly anticipated list of Russian political and business figures has been released by the Trump administration. The list of 114 people have been deemed oligarchs. The U.S. Treasury says the net worth of each of these people is about $1 billion or more. Now, Congress passed a law last year requiring this list be created as punishment to Russia for meddling in the 2016 election. So it's called jackpotting, and experts say it's basically a 21st century bank robbery. It usually happens at an off-site ATM, like at a convenience store. The criminals override an ATM and basically turn it into a slot machine, rapidly spitting out cash, up to 40 bills every 23 seconds. The good news is the stolen cash isn't necessarily coming out of your personal bank account, just the machines themselves. It's still robbery, but experts warn this kind of attack can still have a serious effect on the rest of us. Increased fees at those ATMs as well. It's just illegal, for heaven's sakes. All right, Facebook may soon, something happened on Facebook may soon hit closer to home. Facebook announced a new wave of changes to your news feed. CEO Mark Zuckerberg says that home pages will now feature more local stories, includes not only local news, but posts by any local publishers or events that you follow. Zuckerberg says the hope is that to use Facebook as a tool to help people stay informed, to get involved in their communities. Facebook says most people will start seeing those changes now, as in today, immediately.
Lou, I have to apologize. Katie and Mike have been back here bickering since they walked off talking about curling and speed skating. Guys, get over it. Oh my goodness.
I think Katie's
Sorry,
right.
Lewis.
No, it's okay.
5:45 is your time.
Yeah, I heard it all myself. All right, coming up next, there's a lot of talk this morning because one website ranks Florida as the worst in all 50 states. Say what? Do you agree? Use the hashtag GMJ and I'll have the buzz coming up in just 2 minutes.
This is Good Morning Jacksonville.
So right now you got a statewide search for 14-year-old Michaela Graham. She's from Sebring, Florida. Investigators believe she may be with 37-year-old Elizabeth Wortman.
We're told Michaela has cuts on her left arm, and the pair may be traveling in a blue four-door sedan. If you see them or know where they are, you're asked to call police.
All right, well, we all want to be the best, right? And trending this morning, according to the popular lifestyle website Thrillist, Florida is the worst state in the entire nation. I don't know how I feel about this. The ranking is determined by each state's contribution to America, so pretty much any inventions, the food, the drink, famous people. Well, Florida's been in the headlines for some crazy things. You remember this? This was when a woman was arrested for a DUI while riding a horse. And then this one, when these guys actually thought they could get away with stealing a light pole. All right, but that doesn't make Florida the worst. This has sparked, of course, a lot of conversation online. I want to get to a couple of those comments of what some of you are saying. Celia says, whoever wrote this has clearly never been to Florida. I agree. And then Mary says, it's a long-standing trick we residents use, so maybe we really are good and you just don't know it. Lydia says, I lived in Indiana for the first 50 years of my life. I've been in Florida for 13. I'll take Florida any day. And how about this last one? Patty says, Florida is an awesome place to live. Beaches, Disney World, St. Augustine is beautiful, Miami, Key West. What more could you want?
No contributions? Maybe they haven't heard of Ponce de Leon.
Hello.
Or space. You ever heard of like space?
Space?
We wouldn't have space if it weren't for Florida.
Yeah, I wasn't going to go there, but I mean,
that's
that's
true.
That's
you
true.
don't have like the moon.
Where are they going to get their orange juice from?
You got to get
oranges. Hello. Yeah.
Listen, the reason Florida is so great and you get these wonderful news stories, because I mean there are headlines and they are eye-grabbing that typically come from Florida. There's just so many people here.
Yeah.
There's such a massive sampling of things. You know what I mean? You're not going to get this from Rhode Island, where you got 19 people living there. So yes, this will happen. What a great place to be, isn't it?
It is. I love the weather here. I mean, outside of hurricane season, but I
not too hot in Jacksonville.
I mean, it's hot, but it's okay. I'd rather take the warm weather.
I enjoy
than the cold
Thrillist.
weather.
You know, I like what they do sometimes. It brings a smile to the face, makes me laugh. Most of it's in jest. I mean, that's just a joke. Yeah, I know a guy who writes for them, and knowing his personality, Matt, went to University of Miami. He's a unique dude. I think they're
as long as they know we're the best.
Maybe he knows that Floridians will be most upset about being
right.
called the worst.
Thank you, Brooks.
Chime in, GMJ.
Smile on my face. Yes, please.
Now, weather with your First Coast News storm experts, powered by AC Designs.
Good morning. All right, I heard from my dad, heard from Katie's mom. So curling has been a sport in the Olympics since 1924. But what makes it different this year? Why is it a new sport? Well, it's mixed doubles, okay, men and women. So there, we've cleared up that. And speaking of the Olympics, do you believe we look at the weather in Asia, Korea, and usually about 10, 12 days later affects what happens in eastern North America, including us here in Florida. Notice it's cold, plenty of snow, plenty of cold on the Korean Peninsula. Temperatures only in the 20s today, so looking good for the mixed doubles curling. I think in 10 days this cold pattern will hold in for us. This means that a lot of ups and downs are on the way. We're not done with our winter cold fronts, and we see that clearly here. 58 is our high today, about 10 degrees below where we should be. 57 in St. Augustine. The next 12 hours will include also some wind chills, feeling like the middle 30s at the bus stop, and then struggling into the 50s for a bright, brisk high of 58 degrees. Tonight, don't forget, we got that bright super moonrise. That'll be just after 5:30. So the lunar eclipse would be tomorrow morning as we go into just after 6:40, 6:45. Okay, so excellent viewing. And then the moon will set at 7:17, and then this show will end. Now, as we go through the week, we'll slowly warm up. 31 tomorrow. There's our inland freeze, a high of 60, and then near 70 Thursday, Friday. And Friday, don't forget, it's First Coast News Night. That's right, hockey fights cancer. So I think the players will be wearing some pink. Temperatures in the low 50s, looking good downtown. Weekend outlook, Saturday dry, Sunday our next chance of rain, and 67 degrees. Now let's get to Katie Jeffries in the ViStar Credit Union Traffic Center. Katie, you are a trivia sleuth And like me, we love trivia, so we were really going at it early, which is good. It was all in fun.
I'm very competitive
Yes.
when it comes to trivia. I'm very competitive. All right, let's take a look here towards some of your drive times for 295. Whew, deep breath. It's not even 6 a.m. yet. All right, let's take a look. If you're going across the Buckman Bridge, it's about a 10-minute ride, then another 10 minutes as you would maybe make your way the opposite way. So really, if you're going towards Orange Park or going towards Mandarin, I'm not seeing any problems along the Buckman. That's great. In fact, let's take a live look. Look at the beautiful moon out there at the moment. There it is. How bright it is in this camera. It's incredible. But the Buckman Bridge, it also looks great, as you can see by those drive times. Let's take a quick look here towards your traffic map. Still no reports of crashes, so fingers crossed that it stays that way. I-10 looks great all the way from Baker towards downtown, and so do your other major interstates. Back to you.
All right, Katie, thank you. 5:53 is your time. He's the fastest man in the world, and now he's going to tackle a new career. Talking about Usain Bolt in just 2 minutes.
So the balls are in across the way.
There you go. 5:56 is your time. And over in Clearwater, Nick the Dolphin made his pick for the winner of the Super Bowl 52. Handlers gave him 2 footballs to choose from, one for the Patriots and one for the Eagles. And when Nick swam over to the footballs, he chose the Patriots. You can watch the title game right here on NBC 12 Sunday at 6:30.
Usain Bolt has won multiple Olympic medals. And let's just go ahead and say it, he's the fastest man on earth. He wants to become a soccer player after announcing his retirement from racing last year. Bolt wants to try out for the German league as soon as he can, I guess. Get out there and do it.
Yeah, he entertained a stadium full of children by signing hats and showing off his famous lightning bolt pose.
Why not? He's quick in bursts. I've never seen him handle a soccer ball.
You got to have some fancy footwork, especially if you're going to be a professional soccer player.
I always thought, you know, with that speed and his size, which he's a substantial gentleman, you know, considering he's a sprinter, I mean, very built, put him on a football field.
Give him the ball.
Just give him the ball. Put him on, like, line him up at tight end or something. I mean, I know that's silly, but just give it a go.
Though?
Maybe not. I mean, the man, he's super fast. Who knows if he can catch? I mean, he's great at throwing hats. So that's an indicator of athleticism right there. Usain Bolt.
There you go.
What can't he do? 5:57 is your time. So much more coming up on Good Morning Jacksonville. Use that hashtag, sign up on social media, and hit us on the hashtag GMJ. We're back after this.